Okay, here's the 3D printed Pogot robot project. Of course, the Pogot was a Russian-made toy. This is one of the ones from my Robothut collection. I'll put a link to the first video I did on this down below. They were a wind-up walking toy with a color wheel that spun on the chest. Anyway, you can go back and watch that video if you want to see. But I wanted to take that basic design as my inspiration for these versions, and this one's not glued together, so I have to be careful when I pick it up because it'll fall apart. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to do another follow-up video showing how to 3D print the parts, how to assemble the parts, and some of the variations and stuff. This particular video I thought I would just do a demo of 4 different versions of the robot. Not only are the chest effects differently, but the eyes are different from, this would be the most basic. It's just a walking robot with 4 color changing dots in the chest, no light up eyes. It's operating on just 2 AA batteries, 2 penlight batteries. And this one has the 3mm LED eyes, and of course a different chest pattern, a moray as we say in America, but the correct pronunciation I believe was moray. And this one has 5mm LED eyes and a sequential bar of lift things there, sort of reminiscent of Robbie's sax valves, or in his heart box the little levers that are moving. And this one, of course, being a gear robot, but the difference is this one has 10mm LED eyes, and there are some other differences too. For example, this one is radio controlled that you can turn on with a remote, and this one is voice controlled. So we'll start with the demos with the first one. Like I say, I have to be careful moving this one because it's not screwed or glued together. As you can see on the back you have your standard door. In this particular one, it's just running on 2 AA batteries. I'm using the TT gear motors, using the 1:220 gear ratio, and you might want to start hunting and getting some of those on order now if you want to build any of these versions. It takes a little bit of hunting, and I'll give you some links of what I used to find mine. But here we go. Let's turn this one on. It's most reminiscent of the original. There's also 3 different hat designs. This is kind of a domed hat design. And I'm going to carefully try to pick this up so you can see the chest effect. The arms, being that we have screws there, means that we can move the arms without breaking any linkage inside. That's not true with the original Pogot from Russia. If you try to move the arms, you're going to break the plastic parts inside. So this is the first version. We'll just call this the color wheel version. Then the second one, the only thing that's more difficult about this one is you add the wiring of the 3mm LED eyes. Now this one is glued and screwed together. The body is held on by screws on either side, and has the moray effect there. And I can't remember, is this 2 pen lights? Yes. This one's also running on 3 volts, 2 AA batteries. And let's start with that effect. So there's the chest effect. And I don't know if the eyes are showing up or not. I guess they are. Got a lot of sunlight coming in through the window. Now all of these, like I said, are using the TT gear motor, using the 1:220 gear ratio. And I'm going to do a follow-up video to this one where I, as talked about before, take this one apart, show you how to print the parts and all that. But in that same video, I'm thinking I'll also take, I'll take the 1:120 gear ratio, the 1:90 gear ratio, and the 1:48 or 45, I can't remember, the fastest one, the most common one. We'll experiment with those motors in this when it's apart so we can see what happens or if they would even work. So there'll be some options for the motors, if you will. Okay, so this one has the 5mm eyes, and they're separate blinkers. And this one, I believe, this one's still running on 3 volts. I found a remote control wood kit on AliExpress for a couple of bucks. That was radio controlled, so I put the receiver in there to run the motor directly, and the transmitter parts didn't come with a box because it was a wood kit, so I just kind of 3D printed a little case to control that. But when I push this button, theoretically it should start walking, and these should sequentially move. There we go. Let's get those closer so you can enjoy those. They're kind of cool. So as long as I hold the button on the remote, it runs. When I release, it stops. You don't have to use a wood kit remote. It's just that it was a couple of bucks, and it was meant to work on 3 volts, so I decided, why not buy it, why not try it. Normally I use the Coke can cars, and originally back in the 1990s when I started using the Coke can cars, they were actually called tabletop cars and tanks and stuff. Okay, so this one, of course, having another different chest display, so it's got all these cool gears. It has the 10mm LED eyes, and up on top we have the microphone, because it actually has that recordable chip that I've covered in other videos. If I remember, I'll put a link to that down below. And in this case, we're running on 3 AA batteries, so it filled the battery box. And I wrote the words in there because I knew I'd forget, but Pogot walk to start it, Pogot stop to stop it. And I say it works really well compared to the Electro Robot project, because the microphone is not encased inside the robot, so all the noise of the motors and gears doesn't really affect it. So when you first turn them on, they always cycle for a few seconds. Pogot walk. Pogot stop. Let's get the gears closer so you guys can see those. Pogot walk. Pogot stop. I also I used a dual H bridge from that recordable voice recognition chip to drive the motor. Because it's a dual H bridge and I only needed one to run the motor, I used the other H bridge on the same chip as the LED flasher. That's why when you first turn it on, that's where we get this blinking. So I basically wired one H bridge up just as a flasher, the other one up as the motor driver. And the flasher kind of whacks out when the motor starts running, the voltage drops. But I liked that. I knew it was going to. I thought it'd be a cool effect, and I do like that. Pogot walk. Pogot stop. Works really well. So, these are the 4 versions that I've made so far. What I'm going to attempt to do next will be to get the files up on Thingiverse for this first basic color wheel design, then shoot the video showing how to print the parts and assemble the robot, and hopefully in that same video I'll be able to experiment trying the different gear ratio TT motors. Like I said, instead of the 220 to 1, I'd also like to try the 120 to 1, and also try the 90 to 1, and the 45 or 48, again I can't remember which it is, to 1, the most common one. I don't have much hope on the 45 one because it's going to be too fast. But when I take this apart, you'll see that because, well, it's kind of coming apart now that I've forgotten I just lifted the body up. But because I wanted to lay it out so it would have enough room for a 3 battery box, and there's a certain amount of depth involved in that, it didn't leave a whole lot of room inside the toy for adding any gear reduction. So I couldn't really purposely design this to use the fastest, most common motor. I had to use the 1x220, or 220 to 1 as we would say in America. Now, in case you want to get a head start on trying to locate some of the motors, I'm moving the camera here. Let's just go over and look at the computer for a second. Here we go. So this is on Amazon, and this particular seller, for basically $13.67. They have different ones. This is the 1x220 reduction, which is the one I prefer to use, and you would get 4 motors for that price, so like $3.50 a motor. And again, for over a week now, it's basically said the same thing. It says, only one left in stock, order soon. So I don't know, maybe there's lots of them up there and it just always says that, or maybe there's really only one. I'll try to include this link in the video description down below, and if they don't have any more, maybe they'll get more in stock, or maybe you can use some of these search words to check Amazon to look for more. I found other sellers when I was looking on Amazon that were selling this motor, or so they claimed, but you know, it has the wheel on it, because a lot of the motor ones that also come with a large plastic wheel, you don't have to use the wheel. But it said that it had the dual shaft. That's the important part. The reduction speed and the dual shaft, those are the things that we're looking for. And it said it had it, but when you look at the pictures, you could never see the actual shaft on the backside, so you didn't really know if it was a dual shaft or not. Might be worth trying, because it's Amazon, you could always send it back if it wasn't. Okay, up on AliExpress, for example, this particular seller is going to give you 5 of these 1x220s. Now, every one of these is a different gear ratio. I believe this one down here, let's click on this. Yeah, this is the 1x48, which we don't want. And this is the 1x120. I think that would probably work fine. This is the 1x220. What do we got over here? 2-axis. Anyway, this is the one we want if you can get them. 2-axis TT gear motor, and $5.70 for 5 of them, but you don't get the free shipping unless you spend more than $10. Something to keep in mind. And again, this one says quantity only 1 left. But again, I'm telling you, I've looked at this thing for over a week and it's said the same thing. So is that really how many they have left? I don't know. But if you're up on AliExpress, again, here's words that you can use in your search. Some of the sellers will sell, you know, in all the different gear ratios. So you might want to look for sellers that post more than 1 gear ratio, even though you're only looking for one. So make sure you click on the one that you want. I actually have a set of these coming. I just wanted to see if they would come. I just wanted to see whether the tariff would raise the price and all that kind of stuff. So I guess we'll find out in a couple of weeks when they get here. I still have several of these left from an order I did a month ago. But I think that's it for this video. So stay tuned for the next video, which will be a build video covering the basic robot construction. And we'll test some of the different gear ratio motors in that one, hopefully.